that
Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander, Season 7, Episode 8, Turning Points.
Sure.
It was fine.
Yeah.
This was like the like most chill, easygoing finale of this show that I've ever seen.
Yep, I agree.
Also,
I thought
before anybody says that, I know it's a mid-season finale. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I would have thought that we would have gotten like some insane cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like at least I'm so annoyed that they are insisting that Mr. Bug is a thing.
Please. Please.
Like, why?
So annoying. He has also menacingly met Rachel now in the middle of the woods and then very like deliberately let her pass. So I guess, is he gonna wait until Ian is back to kill her in front of him?
Probably.
Disgusting, Mr. Bug.
Just, you're so old. Why are you still alive?
I know that you're an old man and you don't know how to take care of yourself. That's not my problem.
Well, clearly he knows how to take care of himself. He's been living in the fucking woods, presumably, for like all this time.
You know Mrs. Bug made his life nice.
Yeah. So...
But they just both seemed so hateful.
Right.
The way they're portrayed in the show.
So, you know, that's probably why he's still alive, because he is living on a healthy diet of spite and rage.
Alone.
God.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
No, I'm not about it.
It's not my favorite thing.
Mm-mm.
That is sort of the least of it, so we can, like, get that out of the way. He popped back up at the end because Ian left Rachel, or left Rollo with Rachel, and obviously Mr. Bug recognizes the dog, and so he's like, I bet your friend loves you very much in order to and she just sort of smiled but didn't say anything because she's also really struggling with her feelings for Ian, and I guess you made a good point that you think it's because they're Quakers and Ian is like a man of violence, like he's a fighter, not in like a bad way, but he goes to war, he is part of the Mohawk. So it's like a whole, it's like in the
and probably
society.
Because he was married once, and
that shouldn't, I feel like that shouldn't make a difference. The like prior marriage, unless it's because she's not dead.
I don't know. But I'm sure that for that time period, they probably would have
frowned on that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But also I'm just kind of like, and I guess Denzel kind of like touched on it where he was like, I left the meeting, not you.
Well, I was like kicked out of the meeting.
Yeah.
Like, he was like banished because he wanted to help the rebels.
Yeah.
And he was like, but you haven't been. But if you marry a man like Ian, you will be. You will
like,
also be banished. I'd be like,
you're not really doing it anyway? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Let the hot tattooed man kiss you. Like, I don't know.
She did slap him right in the face.
She really did.
But it was like after a minute, she let it happen for a minute. And then she was like, And
then he was like, oh, but like, come on. And then hands were on hips.
Yeah.
On backs of bustles.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you guys, just shut up. Just love each other.
And also, it was especially funny because immediately, we're kind of going backwards through the episode. Immediately before they kissed, he was like, so awkward with her, dropping the goose grease on the ground.
Oh,
being
yeah.
like, oh my, and it was just very silly because I was like, Ian, you have lain with a woman. You know how to act.
I mean, if you got like the butterflies, no matter how practiced a lover you are, you're gonna get a little clumsy.
Sure.
Oh no, my goose grease.
I'm surprised they didn't also just like both bend down and like bonk heads and stuff.
Well, they both touched hands.
They did touch hands. So that's not as silly as bonking heads.
That is true.
When you're, But it was also, I liked the whole goose grease thing. It was like very funny.
This is for someone's asshole.
I think, he was like, it was also, he like paused because it was like he didn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Or he was like trying to think of a respectful way to say it, and then he still came out with arsehole.
Yeah.
And it was just like very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also met Benedict Arnold in this episode. Cool, I guess. Jamie quoted him to himself.
Oh, is that who they quoted?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
What was the actual quote?
I have no idea. Because as soon as it finished and they were talking about how it was like, shouldn't have done that. I have no idea.
A man's reach should exceed his grasp. Oh no, Robert Browning actually. But regardless, the person hasn't been
born yet
or hasn't written that yet.
Yeah.
But either way, and then Claire was very like, he's a whole thing, and like he has to do this, or like XYZ won't happen. And the thing is especially when she was living with Frank still, or even like after Frank died. I know it was pretty soon that she went back through the stones, but it wasn't immediate.
Mm-hmm.
If it were me, I would have been doing so much research on dates and history and like remembering stuff if you were going to be trying to like do whatever. But she just is like, I don't know when he does it. I just know he does a thing that like means we win the war. And so I'm just like, okay.
Well,
not helpful.
I mean, you're right. But also, I don't think that she thought when she went back in time that she would end up in America. So I don't know that I would have studied it either. I mean, if you asked me right now what he did, I'd be like, I don't know. He just switched sides.
Yeah, some kind of treason.
I don't know. I don't know what he did or when he did it. Just that he did it. So
yeah,
I guess. She is a lot more knowledgeable about history stuff than I am, and I was like super into it, but also American history was my least favorite of all the histories.
Yeah.
So boring.
I guess she also like just probably picked up some of it from osmosis through like Frank and then also Brianna's schooling in Boston. Either way, I just think that conversation was hilarious because she was like, well, he has to switch sides and he's like all of this or else the Americans won't win the war. But I don't know when it happens or how or where.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait.
Well, I feel like it was more of her saying it to herself and Jamie, like, we cannot do anything with this man.
Sure.
We have to leave him alone. Like, whatever happens to him while he's here, we just have to let it happen. So basically the moment where he was like asking Claire, do you like judge me or whatever for feeling this way about Gates? And she was like, nope.
Yeah.
And whereas like, I think she probably would have been like, well,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. And like try to like amp himself up and be like, well, here's what you could do instead. But no, she was just
has
like,
to do the thing.
She was like, nope, be mad all you want.
It's a canon event. We can't like
fuck that guy specifically. You should definitely do something about it.
There's stuff like that in Doctor Who. It like comes up kind of a lot where it's like there's certain things that can't be changed very specifically, and one of them actually is killing Hitler, killing baby Hitler. Yeah. All right, so the Benedict Arnold stuff, and then there was also a really nice scene with Denny and Claire where he was like, in my whole medical career, I have only ever lost 4 patients until today, where that's increased tenfold. And he's like, how do you bear it? And she's like, I just figure if I wasn't there, it would be worse. And he's like a little worried about Rachel. He got more in this episode than he has in like a hot minute.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Me
I
too.
think he's a good character. I find him interesting. Rachel seems to be doing amazing. She seems to be kind of thriving on this like helping out that they're doing.
I just think it's really funny that all these men keep coming to Claire to talk about war, and she's just like, oh, sweet summer child.
Yeah.
Let me school you something about war.
Well, she's been in like
30 of them.
Well, okay, so she like wars, like when you want to talk about the like entirety of the war, she served in World War II, she served in a Rising, and she's serving now in the Revolutionary War. That doesn't account for how many battles she served in, which was probably like dozens in World War II and several in the Rising. And I mean, it's sort of hilarious. And you're right. They're just like, how do you cope with war? And I just imagine her like with a cigarette being like, I'll tell you something about war. Like,
let me learn you something here, boy.
I've forgotten more about war than you'll ever know. But yeah, so it's been pretty great. And actually her like whole little chat with Benedict Arnold was like very cool and like kind of charged in a way that was interesting, because he was like kind of peddling medicines to her because he wanted to like trade for the bark that helps you with malaria for one of his men. So was he British and then he switched to the Americans, or was he American and he switched to the British?
American and then he switched to the British.
Okay. I also don't know my history. Yeah. So regardless, that was like, it was just like a really cool scene. And then I knew who he was because he was credited in last week's episode. So I was just like waiting for it. But it was not until the end where he's like, I'm Benedict Arnold. It's like, congratulations, dude. And then Claire and Jamie also had a conversation about like, there has to be something specific enough for the French to want to enter the war. You want to just watch Hamilton?
Okay.
Yeah, all right. It's been a minute. I've only watched it the once, so I'll do it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then we really are going backwards because the episode started with a woman and her son finding Jamie on the battlefield unconscious, and Claire like showed up and was like, I will gut your son, your little boy son, if you even touch my husband. And she had a knife, and then she had a sword, and she literally was about to. It was very fun.
Yeah.
And it turns out Jamie's fine. He got conked on the noggin, and he got, what is with this? I'm done.
I'm done.
Done with this. Done with this in media. No more.
No, Men did it.
No more.
The movie Men. That was probably the first time I've seen that, and the last time I would like to see it, please.
There was something else recently. I don't remember what it was, but there was something else that did it. And then in the movie Ready or Not, which is actually mostly just hilarious, she gets shot or stabbed or something through her hand, but then she winds up in a pit and she has to hook the hole in her hand onto something on the outside of the pit to like get her out.
Stop, you're making my kneecaps hurt. Stop it. Why would you do that to me? I'm not done yet. My feet are flexing so hard. Oh, no.
You are hilarious. So the only other thing in the past that's of real concern is Simon Fraser dies. He gets shot in one of the battles that they're having, and he requests Jamie come to see him because he's his only kin or whatever. And so he does. He and Claire are there, and they have like a really sweet conversation too. And I guess they're supposed to be roughly the same age.
Yeah.
Which, because he was like the last time that we saw each other, we were boys, like playing that game with the sticks. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't know. It just sounded, from what I understood, it was like them chasing the bigger kids with the sticks.
Well, regardless, the sticks were bigger than them.
Yes.
And so I thought that was actually a really lovely scene as well. And this was like I said, it was very gentle. It was a very gentle episode.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of really nice scenes. And so he died, and then one of the other guys came to see Jamie as well and was like, they're doing this regiment is like doing a surrender or whatever. And so they're going back to England, so Willie will be safe as well. And because
if they surrender, that means they can't fight in the war anymore. Yeah.
So one of Simon's requests was that he be taken back to Scotland, I guess, by a kinsman. Like, was that specified, or they just like wanted to send Jamie with him?
I feel like they just figured since Jamie knew like where to take him.
Okay.
It'd be smart too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure also it was kind of calculated because I'm sure the British know that Jamie is high up and he's kind of important. And so I feel like they're wanting to take him out.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's the way I would think if I was making a decision like that.
Well, Jamie, Claire, and Ian are super jazzed.
Yeah, they're like, babe. Yes. Say less, babe.
Deuces. So they leave. Ian leaves Rollo with Rachel, and we like skip the entire boat ride, and we just have arrived in Scotland by the end of the episode. Love that for us. And I love too, I guess we won't do it until whenever part 2 comes out, but we're going to see Jenny again, even though it's a different actress now. But yeah, I really dug all of that. And then I guess we have to talk about the idiocy in the present.
Well, we can still talk about Willie.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Jamie definitely almost shot Willie.
Yeah, it did seem like an accident.
No, it was on purpose because he had Simon in his sights and then he decided last minute and shot the man in front of him, and it turned out that he shot Willie's hat off. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Benedict Arnold told Jamie to shoot Simon because they were like, go for the majors. Yeah. And so Daniel Morgan was like, do that too, whatever. And so he was going to, and then he was like, the decision switched. Yeah. And so then he shot Willie.
Okay. So yeah, he shot his hat off. And then when Claire left the tent where Simon was dying, she ran into Willie and they talked for a couple of minutes. And then Jamie came back out as Willie was getting like reprimanded for not wearing his hat, which like is the least of our concerns right now, please. And so Jamie basically admitted to being the one who shot who shot his hat off and gave him, I think, Simon's hat.
No, it was his hat.
Oh,
Jamie's hat.
Oh, Jamie's hat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it had the flower on it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's sweet. And so Claire was like, what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm. I just love that he was like, Jamie overheard him say, like, some whore son shot it off my head.
Whore son rubble.
Yeah, and then Jamie walked up and he was like, at your service, sir.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I owe you a hat or whatever.
But yeah, Claire, as they're walking away, was like, are you good? And he was like, I realized it was the second time I've almost shot him, which I had forgot they wanted him to kill the baby.
They didn't want him to kill the baby.
Or the baby almost.
The man was holding the baby. Yeah.
Right.
Because he was going to like throw away or something.
And so he shot him.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And he was like, what if I don't miss the third time? I'd like to at least try to speak to him as an adult. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that was nice. And he did. And it was fine. Do we suspect they're on the same boat or are they on a different boat than Willie?
I don't think Willie goes back to England.
Oh, he's just not allowed to fight anymore. Or does he like skip out?
I think that it was very poignant that he was promoted
to captain.
Yes. So they might be like, you're needed other places. So you know, whatever. Like you did such a great job with this and now you're promoted. And so we're going to put you somewhere else.
Sure.
So they think that he's safe, but I think he stays.
Okay. All right, cool. And so then I think we can move to the future present. Okay. I'm not mad at it completely because Roger and Buck are going back to the past. Fine. My issue is, Roger, why are you just chasing through the Craignadoon stones as opposed to flying across the ocean and going through the Ocracoke stones again? Because first of all, you'll give Buck the ride of his life.
Yeah, that would have been so great. So then he could be like, "I've been in an airplane." I'm now furious.
Rachel's like, now I am the most pissed I've ever been. So, but not only that, you have already tried it once before, chasing after through the same direction, and it worked out super bad for you. So, like, why are you not cutting him off at the pass? You know where he needs to go. You know where Fraser's Ridge is. Mm-hmm. You know how to get to Fraser's Ridge. Just wait for him to get there. It'll take you a day and a half as opposed to like a 3-week ocean voyage where you might be in the boat behind him. Stupid. Especially because they specifically, Brianna was like, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure he's going after the gold because the musket ball is gone and the letter where they talked about the Spanish gold is gone. And that's the only reason he would have stole Jemmy.
So do you think that they're hoping, because maybe...
to catch him before he gets a boat?
Yes, because maybe they're leaning on the fact that Rob actually has no idea what to do when he's there.
Maybe.
And so that maybe will slow him down. And because he'd have to get there, he'd have to buy clothes. Well, who knows? He'd have to figure out how to charter a boat. If I went back in time, I'd be like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to get on a boat.
Which is why it was so impressive that when Claire went back after Frank died, she had like collected old money. Her dress had a zipper, but it was like of the correct time. She had like lots of stuff that was like the correct time period, like ready to go.
But she had pockets.
But she made herself pockets. And so that's just the kind of thing where I'm like, Roger and Brianna are both educated people, modernly educated people, and they are making worse decisions than Archbug.
Listen, book smart, no street smart.
Yeah. But like, Brianna is supposed to be street smart. Frank taught her things because he knew this was going to be an issue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brianna should know. There, to me, is no excuse why they didn't get 2 plane tickets, one for Roger and one for Buck, to go across the ocean in a plane and then go through the stones there.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they're probably thinking that Rob's going to be too slow and that they'll catch up.
I have a feeling he's not going to be too slow. But what is interesting is that obviously, Claire and Jamie are going to end up meeting up with Rob and Jemmy and Roger and Buck. They're all going to coincide somewhere for sure. Yeah. So whatever. I seriously was like, you're shitting me. And then also Brianna and Mandy didn't go. So they're just like back still in 1980 alone in a castle.
I mean, if we know one thing, Bri knows how to shoot a gun.
That's true.
So she, out of the two of them, she could handle the biz.
Sure.
For sure.
Course. So, and then also after like a week or 2 weeks ago when she was like talking to Buck and she was like, somehow we'll find you a gemstone, and bitch just has an antique brooch just chilling. You're killing me.
Back to what you said about that. It's like, they are just around. You can just get them. And
it's like what I said, where I would feel like the relative cost or value of any kind of gemstone is like proportionately easier to afford like now or like in 1980 than it would have been in the 1700s.
Oh yeah.
So it's like we're like wall-to-wall gemstones, my dude. Like this is not an issue. And she just, it was, again, she was almost like hoarding it. Like, oh, I found it in the antique shop. And I'm like,
precious.
Yeah, I bet there was like 12 more sitting right next to it.
Yep. In fact, I have a brooch that I could go get right now that I bought at an antique shop that is nothing but amethyst and opals.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Great. I'm missing an opal though. Need to get it fixed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, that was pretty much it for this episode. It was pretty good, but again, very, very easy for a finale. So, the next episodes just say 2024 right now. We don't have a date yet. But we will be there when they're ready. So let us know what you think, like, and subscribe. We are also covering Gilmore Girls, and Will and I will be starting to release Desperate Housewives episodes pretty soon. So yeah, just stay tuned and we will see you later.
Bye.